Hey, real estate professionals, this is David, your instructor for the Real Estate Information Security Technology class, and wanted to show you how to activate and use Paragon Backup and Restore software. If you took my advice and you downloaded it before November 1st, 2016, you got it for free. After that, everyone is entitled to a 20% discount at any point. I think the code will still be good that I gave you in class. But in either case, you have to create an account with Paragon Software. So go to their page, paragon-software.com, create yourself an account, and then once you download the software, you can go to their login, customer login page, which will look like this. And then when you log in, you'll get to your customer page, which looks like this. And it'll show Paragon Backup and Recovery 16. It'll give you what they call a serial number here, and you'll be able to paste that into the activation field when you start your software. Now, I tried to paste it into mine, and this is when I first started up the Paragon software. This is what it looks like. It says, please activate. I tried to paste mine in, and I was unsuccessful. So you may actually have to type it in like I did. So I would recommend saving it to a text file or something and sticking it in your documents folder, giving it a name that you can remember so you'll know what this is for, because you may have to refer to it again. They only allow you 6 activations. So if you blow up your computer or you take it off this one, put it on another one, that sort of thing, you can only do it 6 times, before you have to call customer service and get it released again. However, if you go back to this page, you can see here, during those 6 times, you can actually use this release license link here, and it will release the license. This is where I had previously installed it in July. And so I'm going to now attempt to install it on another computer. So I had released it already, and now is my attempt to install it on this test computer. Okay, so it's telling me no. I'm going to have to go fix that and then come back to continue the video. So I've had a little issue with this, but let me see what I can do, and I'll be right back, folks. All right, guys, sorry for the delay there. I realized that I had pressed the button, but what it did was it logged me out of the website, and when I came back in, I was still license in use mode. So I had to click the button again to release that license. Okay, so at any rate, now when I pop this up, this should work when I activate that number. And there we go. So now I have Backup and Recovery 16 set up on my computer. All right, so what you do here is you go to create a backup job on the left-hand side. Now remember, you have to have, let me back up for a second, pun intended. You have to have an external hard drive that we talked about buying maybe from Amazon or whatever, probably $50, depending on the size of your hard drive. In your computer, you'll want to have something that's double that size externally to back up to. And also remember, that you are backing up an image of your computer. So this is something you can restore back to your computer in about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the size, and keep it updated with what they call incremental updates each week or so. That way you always have the most current version of that image, and that will eliminate you having to create multiple full images, although that is an option too, and I'll show you. So what we'll do here in the user interface is to click Create Backup Job. And then it gives you a nice wizard here. So it's initializing, so we'll wait a second. And now it said the button next is available. So it's going to take me right through and ask me questions. What do you want to do? And that's why I mentioned in class that this is a really good piece of software, because it's very easy for us real estate agents who have a lot going on to just set this up and walk away and be done with it, and hopefully have worry-free backup situation. So I'll click Next. It asks me, what do you want to call your backup job? I'm going to leave the default here, but I've already done one, so it's including a number 1 here to differentiate between that and the first one. And then it says backup job created on 11/5. That's now, today. And so it's just putting a description in there for me. You can change that as well. Click Next. And now it gets a little more confusing and kind of scary looking. But what they're really saying is these are all the hard disks on my computer. Okay, and I have several because I told you before I'm using a test machine. But the one I care about is my main C drive. And as you can see in the description, I actually have a solid state drive in here, 256 gigabytes. Oh my gosh, it's getting late in the day. And it's my C drive. So I know this is the particular drive that I want to back up. All I have to do is click in the light blue section here, and it will select, make a liar out of me. Oh, disk partition, I'm sorry. I can do my whole computer, but it's going to select all the hard drives. Click over here on disk partition, then select in the white area and make that turn blue. That way it's only going to back up that one drive. If you have a laptop, that's all you're going to have anyway. But make sure you're selecting that particular drive. And these little partitions that are separate from the C drive, these are little Windows partitions that it creates when it installs Windows. You'll want all of these at the same time. So we're going to back up this entire disk as an image to another disk. All right, once we get that, let's click next. Click next. Oh my gosh, hope you guys are getting a laugh out of that stuff. My language is going downhill quickly. And sorry, I got a little allergy problem today, so I'm clearing my throat a bit. I'll try to keep it to a minimum. Now it's saying, where do you want to save your backup? And in my case, I have an external drive. I'm going to go down here to, you can use something, it'll populate the latest one you've used. Since I've already done one, I have this. But you may only see these options down here. So I'm going to go down to external devices, and you see I get nothing. So it didn't detect any. I'm going to go to local volumes. Oh, and there all of a sudden it sees some stuff. And so I actually have another program on my computer that actually pulls together hard drives. And that's my Q drive. So it's actually made up of several hard drives, but this program makes it appear as one. And I'm going to choose that hard drive. So I can expand this little plus sign to a minus sign, and it'll give me all the folders on that virtual hard drive that I have. And then you can see I already have Paragon Backups here, so I'm going to open that up. And then here's the job that I actually created before. So you can create a new folder by going down here and clicking on the folder icon, and you'll get new folder. You can't edit this the way you can in Windows, so you have to go down there and click the little pen symbol, and that'll allow you to actually create a new folder. So I could say backup C drive or something to that effect, and then just hit enter, and that'll create that new folder. Then I can say next, because I've chosen now where I want to put it. And now these are my strategies, okay? And I'm going to give you my advice as to how to handle this. First of all, when do you want it to run? Well, this is on a 24-hour clock here on this top line. What I do is I just type in something like 0300, because that's going to be 3 a.m. in the morning. If you're not familiar with 24-hour time or military time, 0000 is midnight. 0001 is 1 minute after midnight, and then it just goes on. 2 o'clock in the morning is 0200 and so forth, 0300, 0400. You get to 12 and you're at 1200, that's noon. At 1300 you're at 1 p.m. So the clock just starts adding to that for the next 12 hours during the PM hours. So just add it up that way in your mind, but typically something 0, 2, 3, 4, something like that's going to be an ideal time to do your backups. Now it's asking me, when do I want to back this up? Well, right now I'm selected during the daily backup tab. Okay, I don't necessarily think I want to do mine daily, but you can. You'll just need to have plenty of room on your external hard drive. I'm going to do a weekly backup. So, well, it messed up my time. So I'm going to go back and change this to 3 p.m., 0300. I like the option of doing it on Sunday because I'm typically not using my computer at 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. And then it says, well, what kind of backup do you want to do? Well, all you have to do here is, it says full backups only in this case. So what it's going to do is once a week, it's going to create a full backup of your entire computer in one image. And you're going to have that image to choose from. So let's say we take November 2016. I would have one every Sunday at 3 in the morning, a full backup of each at that time of what my hard drive looks like. Now there's another way to do this, and it's called incremental backups. And what you can do with incremental backups is you can simply make one full backup, say on the first weekend in November, and then add only changed information to what's called an incremental backup. Then what it does is if you have to restore your computer, it will add all the incremental data on the following Sundays, in this case, to the full backup to give you an up-to-date image. And that's what's going on there. So let's look at the options here and see. I don't necessarily, I guess this is the weekly backup. Let's see. Yeah, here's the one I really wanted, was weekly. This is the one I chose before. So again, it messed up my time, but I'll just leave it at that time. And then every week on Sunday, I want a full backup and then 6 incremental backups. So what that does is it says, give me a full backup on Sunday, and then on Monday, give me anything that's changed since then. And then on Tuesday, give me any thing that's changed since Monday. And then on Wednesday, give me anything that's changed since Tuesday, and so on. So I can change that. I can edit, and I can say, this is what I really want. How many increments until the next full backup? Well, then what it's going to do is it's going to say, after the 6th incremental backup is done, it is going to create another full backup on the next Sunday. So then what you need is a retention policy. And a retention policy says, well, how many of those backups do you want to keep? Because you're going to, fill your hard drive up eventually. So what do you want me to do once you get there? I would say enable retention, and then say define a minimum number of backups to keep, or one of these other options, define the number of days to keep the backups, or automatically delete when the target disk is full. If the only thing you're doing on the external hard disk is backups, choose this option. Because what it'll do is it will fill that thing up with all kinds of versions of your updates or your backups. And then when it finally needs to, it'll start deleting the oldest ones. But you'll have full backups plus incremental backups that are recent at all times that way. So I would just choose that one. Now I'm not going to activate this because I have a lot of other stuff on my hard drive, my external, and I've already got a backup plan set up, so I don't need to do all this. But I'm just going to go ahead and show you a couple other options. Down here it says, wake up from sleep, hibernate, or prevent the computer from going to sleep or hibernate. This is nice too because Windows wants to go to sleep a lot and save energy and that kind of stuff. So I like to check prevent from going to sleep if I'm in the middle of a backup. Also, if my backup time comes along, I want to wake the computer up from hibernate or sleep to perform it. And then you do have the option of shutting down the computer after the backup's complete. I don't do that. My computer runs all the time, so I don't worry about that. Anyway, I'm just going to leave that the way it is. And then if I go to the next screen here, it asks me how much compression do I want to use. Typically, you'll just leave this at normal. And then it says, what's the maximum size of divided safe archives? You can leave this also at the default value. You have one more option, that is, do you want the backup program to check the integrity of the backup when it's done? What it'll do is it'll read everything that it created and make sure that it matches correctly. That's not a bad idea if you're doing it at 3 o'clock in the morning, because you have plenty of time. The computer can run until it's done. By the time you get to the computer and have work to do, it'll be finished, usually an hour, a couple of hours tops. So I'm going to leave that checked, and then I'm going to hit next. Now it's going to ask me, do I want to create my initial backup right now? And a lot of times I'll do that because I may not have any backups and I just installed this and just put it in here. So go ahead and make it if you can, if you have time. It will work in the background because it uses what's called shadow copy technology from Windows, which can make a copy of your hard drive in the background while you're still using it. But you don't have to do it now. You can just set the job active as of today, and then it'll start on the very next Sunday that you set up during your setup part of the project here. So that's pretty much it. If you click finish, you'll get, obviously I didn't do backup now, but if I create finish, it's going to give me this backup job. It's saving all the settings. Okay, apparently I chose the wrong path to my cannot be a folder or subfolder of another job path. Okay, so I screwed something up with the folder setup in the initial back here where I chose where to do it. So let's go back there and see where I did that. Target, source. That's interesting. I'm not sure why it's saying that. Cannot be a folder or subfolder of another job path. Oh, I see. Okay. In other words, what's happening here is, and I guess this is good that it came up, I cannot use this job path for under Paragon. I can't have another backup job in there. Okay, I cut the video off there because I realized what was going on, and I just want to explain it here. I'm in Windows Explorer. Everything was fine with the backup plan except for one thing. Inside my Paragon Backups folder, I had a job right here. Now, a job is the basic level folder for a backup job. And what it told me was that I can't, if I open this folder, you see there's another folder, and inside that folder is all the files for the backup. So I'm going to go backup 1. This is the job folder, but this is the job folder that holds the job folder. And so it wouldn't let me do this backup C drive folder inside here. So I had to come out and cancel the backup job, and I had to create a backup folder side by side with that inside the Paragon Backups folder that I created. And that's what it was complaining about. So no big deal. I just wanted to show you that real quick in case you run into something similar. It needs to be a sister folder, not inside the folder like I had it. So that was why I did that. Anyway, that's all. So I'm back to the main screen, and I just wanted to show you the one I created in the video I canceled because I didn't need it. But this is the one I currently have, and if I click on it, it'll give me the details of the backup job, when it was created, where it's being saved, what kind of backup it is, and so on. So I also have some links over here on what you can do. One thing I wanted to show you, which is really cool, is you can mount a image if you want to go in and look at it file by file. So you can click this mount, unmount link and say, what do I want to do with this? Well, I just want to make it a local disk. I'm not recovering it. I'm not going to replace my hard drive. I'm just going to make a local disk out of it. I can assign it a drive letter. I can say, oh, I want letter L. And then I can save this, and it'll create a, okay, it didn't work. Anyway, I'll figure out why. But once I create that, I'll be able to go into Windows Explorer and look at it just like anything else. If you go under this PC, you'll see all the drive letters here. I would have drive letter L in that case. And I could look at it just like any other folder and check all the folders out and everything inside of it. So I go to a specific file and recover that one file if that's what I want to do. And then when you get done, you just go back to mount, unmount in your job here. So I'd click on the job again. I'd do mount, unmount, and then I could get rid of it. It would list it in here if it actually created it, and it would say remove with a remove link. And then I could remove that drive and it would disappear. So they're just virtual drives that you can create so that you can look at folders and files inside there. Okay, that's it for Backup and Recovery 16. Mac users, I'll be doing a separate video for you. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Just when I thought I was done, I thought, oh, I better show them how to restore a backup. Very similar, of course. So I'm going to go down here to Restore Backup. Another wizard comes up. Click on the Next button. It's going to say, which backup job would you like to use? Well, I want to use this one, so I'll select it. Click Next. Then it says, where do you want to restore it to? Actually, it doesn't say that. It says, which files of this disk do you want to restore? I want to restore the entire drive, so I'm going to select the outside of the partition area here on this part, and then click Next. And then I want to say, it says, where do you want to restore it to? I want to restore it to my main disk. So that's this one here. Let me go back just a second here. Yep. So as you can see, just want to point out that you can do either disk partition or you can do files and folders. You can actually look through here, and I think I talked about mounting them, but you can go into here as well and just pick an individual file, if that's all you're looking for, in your backups and get it out of there and restore it. but we're talking about a whole disk restore. So that's where we're at. This is a virtual image of my hard disk. So I'll go back to next again. Where do I want to send it to? I want to send it to my hard disk 0. So this is a virtual image. The previous screen was a virtual image of this. So I want to restore it back to my hard drive where I am currently holding my stuff. Click next, and then it says partitions are going to be deleted. So when you restore back to your main C hard drive, make sure that you have potentially saved any new files since your backup. In other words, if I back up on Sunday and I have blow up on Wednesday and I don't have my incremental or full backup set up to restore until the next Sunday, I'm in the middle of the week. What I want to do is make sure I copy any documents or files that I have created since Sunday somewhere else. Then I can do a full restore on my hard drive, and then I can restore my files back, copy them back to the new restored hard drive. So that's just something, it's a little thing, it's a gotcha. I've done it before myself, it's going to happen, but it's going to delete everything on your hard drive, your C drive, before it restores it. So once that's gone, it's gone. So just something to keep in mind. I'm just going to stop here because I don't want to actually restore my computer. But that's how that works, and then just continue through the wizard until you get done. Okay, guys, so cancel that out. Again, this is a really nice program. Hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was a little bit long, but I wanted to show you all the parts to it. Good luck with that, and make your backups.